Could the Vikings be in play for Jim Harbaugh as their next head coach? Well, John Bacon, New York Times best-selling writer of the Let Them Lead podcast from Ann Arbor, Michigan, seems to think it's possible. On January 24th, he tweeted out, Harbaugh watch day 23. Nobody knows anything. But for what it's worth, I'm hearing the NFL possibilities seem to be shrinking, not expanding, especially with probably the best fit, Las Vegas. Flip side, just heard, don't count the Vikings out. See you tomorrow. He also went on the Wolverine Digest podcast, and when asked about the possibility of Harbaugh going to the Vikings, he said there's been communication, and that's as far as he would go. Now then, should the Vikings be all in on Jim Harbaugh as their next head coach? Yes, they should, and here's why. The last 8 years for the Vikings, they have done nothing but fail expectations. Not one time at the conclusion of any season did I say to myself, man, this team, they maxed out. I'm looking forward to the progress of next year. Maybe Blair Walsh wide left 2015, although I was saying long before that this dude should be cut. The Vikings have consistently underachieved. It's time for a spark. San Francisco, for 8 years, 2003 to 2010, never finished above 500. All but 2 years, they finished third or fourth in the NFC West division. That division was such a dumpster fire that the 2 years that they finished second, they were 7-9 and 8-8. They were a mess. 2011 comes around, enter Jim Harbaugh. He takes a team from the dumps to the NFC Championship game his first year. Second year, his starting quarterback, Alex Smith, he gets hurt midseason. Colin Kaepernick, he's a new guy. They get to the Super Bowl. Third year, NFC Championship game. In each of their 3 postseason losses, the Niners, under Jim Harbaugh, lost by no more than 1 possession. 2 of those 3 losses by 3 points. You want to know why the Vikings should want Jim Harbaugh? Because this motherfucker knows how to compete. He knows how to get his players, his team ready for big games. And that's been one of the biggest problems with this Vikings team the last 8 years. Any big game, regular season or playoffs, except against the Saints, this team looked like a bunch of clowns, like they became an expansion team the day before. Jim Harbaugh, he can get this team over the hump. Now, his 4th year in San Francisco, they missed the playoffs with an 8-8 record, never had a losing record. The Niners, they let him go. And I said to myself, what are they doing? This is where, if there is a yeah, but, Kwesi is going to have to figure this out, because current 49ers CEO Jed York and former Niners GM Trent Baalke, they didn't get along with Jim Harbaugh. For what it's worth, Baalke is terrible at developing relationships. So what you have in favor of the Vikings, Kwesi is the exact opposite socially of Trent Baalke. However, Harbaugh can be a bit rigid at times, very prideful man, big personality. So if this is going to happen, there needs to be a conversation beyond an interview between Kwesi and Harbaugh where he says, listen, man, I'm all about collaboration here. That's very important to me. If Harbaugh's down for that, this shouldn't even be a tough call. Make him your new head coach. And a little tidbit, if Kirk Cousins is going to remain quarterback, Harbaugh could be the perfect head coach for Kirk Cousins. He's a former quarterback's coach. He'll demand excellence. He'll encourage him while giving him tough love at the same time. And listen, I don't care if the Vikings trade or keep Kirk Cousins. I'm neither pro or anti-Kirk Cousins. And I understand Kirk Cousins, he's a pro athlete and he should overcome adversity. But let's try to simplify this down to employee in the workplace, if we will. You ever work at a place where you know your manager hates your guts, and the only reason your manager can't fire you is because that decision is up to your manager's boss? You go into that situation every day just, oh my God, I got to deal with this shit. Just a dark cloud over your head for 8 to 10 hours a day. You leave, it's a big ass sigh of relief. Jim Harbaugh is the opposite of that. He's going to bring light and energy to this organization, to the locker room. Make Jim Harbaugh your head coach now.